What does operations do in a business? This is ironic, but your product is actually not keeping any of your customers. Your process is. Operations is less about what you sell, and it's a whole lot more about how you deliver it with consistency. By the end of this video, you're going to know what operations is and how to make it world-class, even in your small business. When we're thinking about operations, we have to understand there's a lot of us that we look at our business and we kind of over-index on product. We think it's all about product, right? Well, operations is actually both product and process. In fact, I could even make the argument that without healthy, documented, repetitive, predictable process, then the product is doomed at that point. And so when we think about operations, I want you to think about it in two parts: process and product. Now with that, I'm going to share something with you that may be a little bit of a shock, and that is this: that your product is actually not the product you sell. Now, I'm not just trying to be magical and weird and all that. The truth is, the process via which you deliver your product, painting services or chef cuisine or whatever it might be, the process via which you deliver it, that's the product that you have to sell. So if you ever took your business out on the market and wanted to sell it, you're not selling the actual service. What you're doing is you're selling a system that delivers the service. Because if I'm the buyer, I don't want to buy you, because without you, the business wouldn't run if you didn't have operational systems for the business to run on. So your product is not your product. The process via which you deliver is the product that you deliver to the world. I'll even say this: we tend to also over-index to think that the product is what's going to keep people coming back. You know, as long as the product's good, the product's good, the product's good. Well, in reality, what it is the process that's delivery with consistency over time. That's the thing to bring people back. So I want to tell you a story. I don't want to make you envious, but we just got back from family vacation, and it was amazing. But not because all family vacations are amazing. I've heard of a lot of horror stories for family vacations. Either it's on the family side of it, or it's on the vacation people side of it. Well, this was a family vacation where we're so grateful. There's 6 of us total, and we've got grown kids at this stage. And all of us went down. The airlines worked out great. Everything worked out great. Got a little food poison on the way back. That's another story, but the reality is the majority of it went really, really well. So we went to a place in the Caribbean, and it was an all-inclusive but boutique mom and pop style of place. They only have about 60, 70 rooms in this little resort that's there. But what's great about this resort is as soon as you get on, they tell you explicitly, no tipping, no paying, put your wallet away, put your ID away, put everything away, and just come sit, enjoy. And so that's what our family did. The taxi picked us up at the airport, drove us about 30 minutes to this wonderful, beautiful, small 20-acre place with 60, 70 rooms on it. We got into our rooms. They welcomed us. They were so happy to see us. We had actually come back. Why? I'll tell you that in a minute. And so what's really interesting about this resort is it was owned by some fairly wealthy people who live in the UK. And this resort was in the Caribbean, and so they'd owned it for about 30 some odd years. Well, their health started to fail them, and eventually they both passed away. Well, the resort just transitioned to a new couple this year, and we went back for the second time under new ownership. And you know what was different? Nothing. It was exactly the same. We drove in the same gate. We pulled up to the same entry. They brought us the same welcome drinks. They took us to the same place where there were rooms before. We went back to the same beach, sat in the same chairs, ate in the same restaurants, and swam in the same bay. Why? It's because they had their operational process buttoned up. When the owners passed away, nothing shifted. What a compliment to the owner's legacy of what they've built with this particular resort. Why wouldn't we want the same legacy for ourselves in the businesses that we're building as well? So where does operations fit in all this? Operations ensures that your process is world-class even if your product has to shift. Or, put another way, operations ensures that your process is world-class even if the owner has to transition out. And so we usually look at the health of a business by its ability to continue to run and grow whether the owner is there or not. And so in that particular case that I told you about, this resort continues to operate at an above-level presence because they had their operational processes buttoned up in between, and they had the people in place to be able to run this resort so that if you didn't know any different, nothing would have changed in their world. So what did they do? And how does that operations translate into a business, what you want to do? I want to take you to the board. Now on this board, the way I've got this thing laid out is I want you to see this, and maybe some of you for the first time, to realize that your business has a skeleton. It has a structure. It has an operating system. And so every business operates this way, whether it's a $20 billion business or whether it's a $200,000 business. Every single one operates under this fundamental skeleton. So when we're looking at operations in a business, we need to look at it on 2 planes. First is the horizontal, what we call the 4 foundational cornerstones. And these are the 4 P's, and if they're not documented, they turn into the 4 pains at this point. And they are purpose, people, process, and profit. And so when we lay these things out, purpose, people, process, and profit, the purpose tells us where we're going with things like vision, mission, values, and also the culture element of what we put in there. The people tells us who's going to help us get this done so that we can achieve the vision. Org charts, job roles, hiring process, onboarding, etc. The 4th vertical, and I'll come back to process, is the profit. That ensures, with subdivided cash accounts, dashboards, calculators, performance budgets, that ensures that we've got enough fuel to be able to run the system and to fuel the process, that 3rd vertical there. And so in that process, we break that down into what we call the vertical operating system or the micro operating system. So up here we have the macro operating system, and this covers all the tools to run the business. And then we have the vertical operating system, which are the processes to run the product. So your question was, what does operations do in a business? My response to you is, which one are you asking about? So there's 2, and then I'll dive into it. First is the operation of the business itself, all right? That's a key operations. So if you're asking what operations of the business do, then what the operations of the business do are ensure that the vision is followed, the mission is impacted on, the values are used in decision making. It ensures that the proper org structures are in, job roles are in place, and all of the things that you see on the yellow sheets there. There's actually a few more, but I wanted to kind of condense it down so you could see it, and I don't want you to be overwhelmed. I do want to tell you this. In a business, many times it feels like you could just be putting out fires all day long. Well, that's why we exist. That's why we're here, to work with businesses between 3 and 100 employees to build out their purpose, people, process, and profit. And when you do that, we take all of your experience, we embed it into all of our templates that we built over a decade and worked with hundreds of business owners with. And through that, you have clarity. So I want you to know you're not alone. We have a lot of resources to be able to help you with this. So the first part of operations that I asked you is the macro operating system of the business, making sure that all the tools of the business. But if you're asking the question of what does operations do from a micro standpoint, then we're looking down here at just the operational process. What does that mean? Fulfilling the product. So we could have a product-based operations person to make sure the product goes out, or we could have a business-based operations person to make sure that the business is running correctly. All right, so you're listening to this and go, okay, I think I got it. So what I'm doing is before, when I looked out at the landscape of my business, I just kind of saw bits and pieces and things that we were doing and all that kind of stuff. There was no real structure. But now, Scott, you're helping me to put on a set of operating system glasses to start to look at my business through the lens of an operating system. Yes, that's what we're doing. So now begins the work, all right? Now we've got to come back, and again, this is where we can help you. So be able to walk through this and go, okay, how do I map this out? How do I actually live this out so that my business can run and grow without me, and also so that I fully understand what operations is? So there's a couple things you can do. First, this is what we call a master process roadmap. I know it looks kind of silly, but we've got this in a template. The easiest way to do it is to take these vertical 4 core, marketing, sales, ops, and admin, put them in a horizontal format, and start to map out every single process that exists in your business. So what are all the marketing processes? You probably have 10, 15, 20 of them. The sales processes, you might have 5, 10, 15. The operational processes, you might have hundreds of these because that's how you fulfill the product. And then, of course, the accounting, admin process, payables, receivables, invoicing, etc. All you have to do now is just write the title of the processes. You don't have to document it out. And then what you do is you MDT on the RPM. I need to make a song about this, by the way. So the MDT on the RPM, what does that mean? First, we're going to map, that's the M. We're going to document, that's the T. So we're actually going to take one of these processes and get it recorded or captured, that's the D. And then we're going to train it. And with the RPM, with repetition, predictability, and meaning. So how do we train it? Well, we use a tool called a spreadsheet. Super easy. And with that spreadsheet, I realize I've written this out, what you want to do on this horizontal top line is write the weeks of the year across the top. So you can do dates or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way through 52 weeks of the year. Then down here, you want to take these processes that you've lined out that you want to train on a regular basis, and you put marketing training right here, sales training, operations training, administration training. And then you take all those little processes. So this week, we're going to train on invoicing. Next week, payables. Next week, receivables. Next week. And you're like, well, what if I only have 20 processes? Great. Copy, paste, do it again. Copy, paste, do it again. That's our repetition, predictability, and meaning. So what I want you to commit to in understanding what operations is I want you to map, document, train, and do it with repetition, predictability, and meaning. Now you might look back at this and go, oh my gosh, I mean, when I think through all of this, I need help. Who are the people? And so when we look at this people vertical, that's again where we're here to help. If you'll click on the link in the description below, I've got a powerful video for you once you're done with this one to go watch the video on how to train new employees. It'll walk you through how to identify, how to hire, how to onboard, and how to train these new team members so that they can run operations the way you want them to run operations so your business can run and grow with or without you. My name's Scott Beebe. We work with business owners just like you, 3 to 100 employees, to build out your operating system of your business so that you can be liberated from chaos to make time for what matters most.